Anthony Hartwig here with a Girard volleyball player profile. I'm joined by Indians junior outside hitter Nico Cochran. Nico, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you for having me.
You got it. And, the thing about this Girard volleyball team, I know it's kind of looking a little bit different than last year. You lost a lot of seniors last year. And because of that, players like you had to step up into a lot bigger roles this season. I'm wondering, preseason, summer, and all that stuff, getting ready for the year, what was it like knowing that you were going to be asked of a lot more this year?
Yeah, so I knew once Lauren was gone that I had to step up my game, but through before even going into high school, I was always like an all-around player for club, junior high. So I knew like it wasn't going to be anything new. So I just knew I had to play my game and I'd be fine.
And you were ready for the moment. Were there any kind of nerves at the beginning of the season or anything like that? Like pressure that you felt, anything like that?
Yeah, because Lauren was such a good player. So I know I almost had weight on my shoulders with my team because I was almost Lauren was always counted on. So I knew I was going to be the next person to be counted on. Like me and Bree, we were the ones who's going to be counted on. So I knew I really had to step up my game, limit my errors, and just try to keep the ball in the court.
Yeah, it was Lauren and Bree. Now it's Bree and you, and I think you've kind of stepped into the role that Bree used to be, like the one that maybe teams don't look out for as much, or don't get as much attention because they're circling Lauren for Bree so much. Now they're circling Bree so much for you. What's that like being just like the second end of a 1-2 punch?
Yeah, I mean, it feels good. Like I love the sport, so getting more touches, it's just I love playing back row. I love passing. Like I feel a lot comfortable playing all the way around, even though it's a lot of pressure. I just love it a lot more than where I was at last year, and I feel a lot more like helpful to my team.
Like you said, though, playing this much volleyball, not new to you. The stage isn't new. The situation isn't new. How much has, the off-season volleyball and all the work you've put in this sport helped you get ready for this year?
Yeah, so we had a lot of good preseason scrimmages, like at Cedar Point, at YSU, and I feel seeing good competition in preseason too helped me prepare of what our season was going to be like.
This team, the thing that defines them is the ability to bounce back. We've seen you guys have some tough sets, but most teams let that affect them for the whole match. You guys bounce right back in the next set. You kind of wash it really, really quick. What's been the key for your guys' ability to not fall into the valleys of volleyball that it can bring, and always come out with the next set or come out with the next point or whatever it may be, and always stay even?
Yeah, so we had tough competition this year. So I think we knew that these competitions are going to help us in postseason. So as long as we play our game, don't like give up or let down at all, that it just helps us in the end, and we'll just get like play better as a team if we stay up. And we know in postseason, like as it gets harder, if we make it farther, it's just going to keep getting harder. So we have to play as a team and stick together.
You've played some thrillers this year too, a lot of 5-set matches. What's it like to play in the atmosphere you play in? You get a lot of support at Girard, and you get a lot of exciting matchups. What's that like for you to kind of be a big part of that this year?
We have a great fan base. I feel we always have since a few years ago, since we started like getting up there. It's so nice because you don't have to go into a gym without feeling like no support. You always have support behind you, and so having those hard games and having that support behind you, it's like really nice because they cheer you on. It makes you want to do better.
You get coached by one of the guys that has the utmost respect in the volleyball world. You ask any coach in the area, and I bet Phil Walters will have some kind of impact on their volleyball career, whether it be playing against one of his teams or uh, coaching with him in the offseason, whatever it may be. What's it like to be coached by a guy that definitely knows what he's talking about when it comes to volleyball?
It helps so much because he knows exactly what he's talking about. He knows what we need to do. Because he always says like teams find our gaps that we need to fix. So right next practice, we're fixing those, our mistakes, our errors. We're doing those right away for the next team.
You know, Building trust with a coach is always important. What were some of your first impressions of Coach Walters, and when did you start to build that ultimate "I can trust you as a coach" relationship with him?
I feel like forever ago because me and Bailey were in the same grade. So playing junior high volleyball together, he was at every single one of our games. So I feel like just since freshman year, even like in junior high, we always been close and he was always there to like tell me what to do, how to get better. And so I feel like that was a good trusting bond.
Was it strange when you went from junior high to high school? Like he was kind of the coach from the sidelines, so would help you every now and then, but now he's the guy that I'm going to listen to, and he's the guy that runs the practices and is in charge.
Yeah, I mean, I was a little scared at first, a little nervous, but I love him as a coach. He's perfect for our team.
We get to see him so much in the games, and that's all we get to see. So what are some things about Coach Walters that maybe people don't know that you guys as players know because you get to see him a lot more than we do?
He's so funny. He's like you would like he is strict. We can't mess around, but before I practice he like makes sure everyone is like he'll do like one-on-one meetings. So we'll make sure like everything's in line, like the team's all good. He'll talk to everyone and I feel like that's really good as a coach for him to get like personal one by one with a person on the team. And I think that also helps him to know us better and to get to know how the team is doing better.
We've talked about your role on the team this year and how much it's gone up. What do you think is a skill or a part of the game that you've grown in the most this year since the beginning of the season to now? Here we are, tournament time.
Yeah, so I would say at first I was a little nervous playing, so I would hit the ball out or shank a ball. But I think as I got like more prepared, more ready, I knew I had to step up my game even more. So I feel like in practices I'm like 100% there, not goofing around. Like I'm doing what I need to do to be ready for games. And in games, I knew if I do make an error, shake that off. Don't let that affect me. And so I'd have to do better there.
We can't do an interview with you without talking about that last name and how much of a legacy it has in Girard in the halls. What's it like being a part of such a legacy type family in that school system?
It's a lot of pressure. My dad, he's a big football player, and so I know if I have a bad game, going home, I have a long speech from him, a long talk. Even like he'll sit on like the side when I'm serving or something. If I miss a serve, that's the first voice I hear and I listen to, because I mean, but he's a big role model for me. I always want to listen to what he says, even though sometimes I'll think he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's just the first person that I always listen to and needed advice for sports.
He's a big football guy. How much does he really know about volleyball? Has he dived into everything about volleyball, or is he still someone that's trying to get his feet wet in the sport?
He says he knows everything. So I don't know. He'll make his own calls when he's watching us play. He just says what he wants. We'll even go in the gym sometimes and he'll be serving at me and swinging. He'll be swinging so hard and saying all this stuff like I can't stop him. So he acts like he knows it all, but I don't know.
You know, you said there are some things that, make you roll your eyes a little bit when he says it. What are some of those things? Let's bust his chops a little bit.
So sometimes I'm the first server and like against, I think it was Hoban, I missed my first serve and he was not happy because you always know you have to get your first serve over. And I heard his voice and I looked over at him and I was like, okay, I get it. And he was not happy. Or if I mess up a really good set, it's the first voice I hear. So I know, oh God, yeah, it must have been really bad.
Obviously we're talking about the relationship and we're having some fun with him, but let's talk about the serious stuff a little bit and how much he's helped you along your career and how much, his support makes all that fun and sometimes, eye-rolling comments worth it and definitely, okay.
Yeah, I mean, my parents are both my biggest supporters. My mom, she's the one who, after I get yelled at by him of having a bad game, she's the one who's always picking me up. Like, he never shuts me down. He always just tries to make me better. And then there's always my mom saying, like, I did good, blah, blah, blah. But my dad, he always, if I have a bad game, I always text him right away, say, let's go to the gym tomorrow. And hopefully we'll be in the gym right away practicing.
Now, you might not be a senior, but because of the bigger role on the team, you've been asked to be a leader this year and to step up and to lead some of the younger players on the team, especially, the JV and some of the younger players on varsity. What's that been like for you stepping into a role as an upperclassman and to be a leader and kind of get your feet wet in the leadership roles?
Yeah, I felt like a big leader this year, especially only having 3 returners and having 6 new girls coming on, or seven new girls coming on. So I felt like, especially all the new girls, like how I told them like before, like what practices are like. Don't be nervous. Like play your game. Like you're on this team for a reason. And so I feel like being a leader for them like helped me a lot in knowing that like taking Lauren's spot, like I could do this and everything.
We've talked with Brie Littell. We all see her. We know the numbers she's putting up. How much does this team kind of rely on her ability and her kind of energy that she brings to the volleyball court? How much do you rely on as someone that hits after her rotations up in the front row?
Yeah, so I know if Bree has a really good front row rotation, then I can't just be slacking. Like I know I have to go up there and do just as good because we're gonna have her in the back row. So who's gonna lead the front row? That's gonna have to be me. So I think it's really good having her up there because I feel like it's also like a little competitor with me. I love her so much, but having her up there makes me want to do better. Like she's a little role model to me.
Yeah, there's that friendly teammate competition there that goes on. What kind of ways do you two get competitive with each other?
Definitely just with our hitting. I mean, we don't really show it as much, but I feel like everyone has it. Like her and Lauren had it last year. So I feel like it's like me and her this year, just like not who's going to do better. But if I'm having a bad game, then she knows she has to step it up. If she's having a bad game, I know I have to step it up.
There have been a couple of games that you have had more kills than her this year. Do you let her know when that happens?
No, Coach Phil, he gives us stat papers, so like we see and we kind of just go over it all together. But we know from that.
When you think about the things you can keep doing, obviously you got one more year left after this one. What are some of your career goals on the future board for you?
Yeah, so I just want to have a good finish end of this year. Um, I feel like we have a bad taste in our mouth from the past 2 years of just getting district runner up. So we're working really hard to. We're focused on Niles right now, and then so on. But next year, it's really like when I have to be a full on leader. So I mainly want to make sure that our program like knows like what Girard volleyball is about and like leadership, like all that, and for the new people coming up too.
I like that you brought up the hunger of trying to get the district championship this year, falling in the district championship game the last 2 seasons. How hard was it this year to not keep the tournament in the front of the mind and try to keep it in the back until obviously now it's tournament time, you can focus on it. But you had that hunger to want that district championship, but also focus on the here and now. How hard was that this season?
Yeah, so the good thing is with our schedule, playing Hoban, Crestview, we had Lakeview, Ridge, all those games is what almost we wanted to be prepared for this postseason. But we knew we have to get through a clean preseason, midseason before our postseason.
All right, so you've had a couple of days now to prepare for tournament. It's different than the normal volleyball regular season. You get a lot of days in practice. What has that done for this volleyball team to kind of erase the regular season, the good and the bad, blank slate? It's tournament time and have a lot of time inside the practice gym to correct whatever you had to correct.
Yeah, so this is mainly what we're focused about is this postseason right here. And 3 of us, we've been through this already 2 years in a row. So we know what it's kind of like. So we kind of just have to show the people coming in now what it's like, what we have to put in our work. And it's not going to be easy now. And once you lose a game, you're done. So we have to make sure they know that we have to give our absolute best, all effort to make it to where we want to be.
All right, before we let you go, I want to get to know you a little bit off the court. What are some hobbies that you have outside of volleyball? I know you play the sport so much, but you got to have some stuff that you do outside the court.
I'm in a few clubs like at school, like FCA. I do things for my school. I run track. I don't know. I just like hanging out with my family, friends, little stuff like that.
If there was one sport that you don't play that you kind of look at and you say, I could throw my hat in that, or I could be good if I tried that, what sport comes to mind?
Softball.
Softball.
Yes.
Why have you never gotten into that then? You're
Well,
more of a track person. You just want track more.
No, I love track, but I feel like I would love softball so much better. I don't know why I haven't done it. I did t-ball when I was younger, and my parents kept begging me to stick with it because I t-ball, like, everyone have to hit off the tee besides me. Like, I would hit the ball so far as a little kid, and they always wanted me to stick with it. So I mean, I was thinking about coming out my junior year, but I don't know yet.
Still got 2 seasons.
Yes.
You know, you can still do it.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing stopping you. When
Yeah.
you think of the athletes at Girard, this athletic community in the school is so good. What's it like just being a part of it? You know, off the court, in the school, but being able to hang out with the football team and go to their games, and obviously the basketball teams both have amazing athletes. What's it like for you just being a part of this community athletically?
Oh, I love it. Like, our one group, like the FCA, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, like, we all come together in that too. So I feel like we have such a good community with sports, and everyone is so close, and there's not really any like hate in between any of the groups. Like, we're all so close, and I feel like that's what's best about it.
I'm going to put you on the spot here because there's a lot of good athletes at Girard. So if you had to pick one athlete in any sport, that you have to like, that you have to watch, best watch, most fun to watch, do their thing on their field or on their court or whatever it may be. What athlete for you is that?
Well, I mean, I feel like the best one so far is Steven Sims, football player.
No harm in that. He's having a great season.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite subjects in school?
My favorite is science. My least favorite is math. I don't like it. And then, yeah, my favorite science.
And then one last one before we let you out of here. Who are some teachers that have impacted your journey in school?
There's many. When I was younger, Mr. Watts. Now, Mrs. Lucarelli, Mr. Johnson. There's so many I could name. Mr. Naples, Mrs. Aducci. There's so many. I feel like our teachers here are great. They're such a good support system, and you can always count on them.
There you go. I mean, the faculty, you're getting some love. You're getting some love from Nico. I want to give you the chance to give your support system, your supporters, the people that are there for you, some time in the sun. Give them a shout out and let them know how much they mean to you.
Yeah. So my family mainly, my mom, my dad, my biggest supporters. My sisters, they one lives in Columbus, she goes to Ohio State, and my other one lives in Florida, so they don't get to watch as much, but they're always watching on YSN. My grandma, she doesn't miss a thing. My aunt and uncles, they come to everything. My friends who are always have my back no matter what I do. But yeah, mainly my family who try not to miss a single thing.
All right, Nico, we want to thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. We appreciate it. And we wish you the best of luck the rest of this year. We can't wait to talk to you again real soon.
Thank you.